It looks like it. Oh boy. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to do something different. This is going to be a trial for home inspection with this small little DJI Mini 3 Pro drone, just to see how it is kind of going around the house, inspecting. Now this camera can rotate up quite a bit. I think it's about 63 degrees, so we can inspect some eaves, and I do have some soffits that I want to inspect to see if some birds are going in. This might be a good video for you guys that want to use it for maybe real estate or just home inspection in general, and just see how the Mini 3 Pro can really perform in a close proximity to walls and trees and stuff. I'm at my house here. We're kind of in the forest, so it'll be a good example of, you know, using the obstacle avoidance. This is the DJI controller with the screen. I got the Fly More combo with the extended battery, so it's a great combo if you want to have more flight time and just a screen that's built in. You don't have to deal with your phone putting it on the controller and stuff. Okay guys, so let's get going. So a great feature of the Mini 3 Pro with this controller is, if you guys didn't know, it actually has a screen recorder built in, because it's just basically an Android tablet. So it's letting us know that we're recording now. You do have to put a micro SD card in here, so I have one in. We're going to record in 4K 30 frames per second, so I'm starting the recording on the drone. Also have an SD card in the drone itself, so we can really get high definition footage. I'm leaving the 4K 30 on so we can use some of that obstacle avoidance. Seems like the Mini 3 Pro doesn't really do obstacle avoidance at all, or very good in 60 frames per second. So we're going to leave it in 30 frames per second. And I'm kind of under the porch here, the front patio. And so I'm only getting like 6 satellites, as you can see on the screen. I'll be switching between the screen I see and the screen on the drone, just so you can see the quality difference. But probably going around the house, you'll see some kind of garbly video, and I'll put that on the screen so you can really see how it's kind of going through this Adobe, and if I can just stay in this spot and how it performs. So here we go. So let's launch this thing up. I'm going to go ahead and just do an auto launch.
The home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
Okay, it looks like it did actually upgrade to like 8 or 9 satellites, so that's great. So just holding to launch here. We're doing an auto launch, and it actually holds its position really, really good, even in no satellite conditions, because it's looking at the ground and trying to keep itself stationary with the optical flow cameras. So what we'll do is we'll start out just in this direction, and I want to make sure I have this obstacle avoidance on. I think I may have turned it off, so I want to go into the settings right here up at the top, and I want to just do I'm gonna do bypass. That way when it hits something or sees something, it'll bypass it. So remember guys, the camera on the Mini 3 Pro is really good. I mean, look at that little wind chime there. You see how it's just bringing that into focus? And you can tap on the screen and really bring certain things into focus. So the camera on this is just really amazing. Let's see if it even lets us move. Not sure if I turned off side sensors. So there's a lot of options in the Mini 3 Pro, and one of them is I have disabled sideways flight. So I'm going to enable that so I can do a little bit more stuff around the house. Let's see if it'll go through. There you go. It goes through the chains. So as you can see, I'm just in the forest here, and I'm just going to cruise around and just really give you guys an idea of how this thing performs. It's about 12 noon now, so you know things are getting kind of shaded up from above. Let's just see. Yeah, so just clicking on parts of the house. So I'm just kind of transferring my visual ability here of my eyes onto the house now. There's a certain section I want to look at, which is high, and I'd have to put a really high ladder up to even see that. Now you hear the beeping. You can actually turn this down, guys. So if I go double swipe down on the screen, I can actually mute this. You see how I just press mute on the controller? And so I don't have to hear that beeping if I don't want to. So the controller has a built-in mute feature, volume feature. Now I want to be careful not going straight up, right? Because this drone, remember I tested it in one of my bike reviews, and it will crash even if you have obstacle avoidance on and you're going straight up. So you really want to be careful of upwards and also going sideways, because there's really no obstacle avoidance on the sideways either. So I'm going to stick to kind of just going straight. Let me give you guys more of like a main shot of this house, okay? Now I'm just driving straight into the roof, and yeah, it actually did avoid the roof there, okay? So the obstacle avoidance may be a really good feature to have on if you're doing this. Let me just give you guys kind of a overall shot of the house, and then I'll come in closer and we'll start doing some more inspections, okay? So again, just be careful of power lines and trees above you. So I'm just do like a little bit of a panoramic pull-out shot of the entire house. Okay. So how about we start off with maybe like a circular shot here. Okay, let's do this. And forgive me if the house is a little bit washed out, guys. This drone's EV settings are quite, they're quite light when the sun is shining. So I'm just going into the EV value, and you can adjust this on your own if you want. I pretty much have everything in auto, but it's nice to be able to adjust that EV if you feel like you're washed out or it's too dark. So I think I'm going to leave it at maybe like 1.3 negative. Just click away from that. And I'm just going to do, there we go. So we're going to do a point of interest here. Let's click on POI. And we're just going to do a slow POI to the right. Okay, I'm going to press go. And so do you see how I just drag like a box around the house? And so here's something that you might want to include in your footage when you're inspecting this type of POI. So you can see here I'll have the drone controller screen up, and it just dropped a GPS point because it really didn't know what to look for with the camera. It's really good at detecting vehicles and people, but with the camera, it's just not great at like big objects and keeping them in center. So you can see that it's like, okay, I know you want to track this and circle it. So I'm just going to drop a point because it knows its GPS point, and it triangulates the point where the house is. So these automatic POIs, I can't really rotate the camera down. Let's see if I want to kind of go back. Yeah, I can go back a little bit and up. Couldn't really see the front of the house there. There we go. So there's the front. I'm just pulling the stick back to make the drone go farther back and a little bit farther up. So those of you wondering where I moved and what house I bought, here is the house. So I've done a few videos of it when I was flying the DJI Vata and stuff, but that is the house. So that gives you an idea of what you can do with point of interest shots. And so what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to stop this. Okay, I just stopped it, and now I'm going to come down and in. I'm just manually controlling it. I want to press X on there, and that just gets you out of the whole POI menu. So if I'm going forward and straight down, this thing shouldn't hit anything. Okay. Now this might be a little bit of a longer video, guys, just because I want to really show some of the features of this while you're trying to maybe inspect your house or a house. So for example, if you have this bypass mode on for obstacle avoidance, I'm going to go straight here. Now watch what it does. Let's go straight into this tree. So I'm just pushing forward. You know what I'm going to do is put it in cine mode, which is this button on the controller. There's a button on the controller where you just push it to the left. And we'll go into cine mode. It's just slower speed. And this might just give you a little bit more panoramic and, you know, slow film quality shots. So you see how the drone is making sure it doesn't hit that. And if I just go straight into the roof here, let's see what happens. It should detect it, and it should fly up and over. I'm not touching the controls except pushing forward. Yeah, see how it's going up on its own to make sure it doesn't hit that ridge. So great features. Just remember side and up. If you're manually flying this thing, it will hit things, okay? So just be careful of that. So let's get out of this power area and we'll come down. Okay. And this is the part I want to start with inspecting, because I know there's a hole here where I don't know if it's just from corrosion or what, but the birds have started to nest in here, and I've heard them in here, and I just want to make sure that they're not going to mess everything up, right? So you see how it's a little dark? I want to go to my EV settings, and I want to like brighten this up because it's not auto brightening on its own enough. It's pretty dark. So I'll go down so we can look up. And the sun's pretty harsh here in the southwest right now. So this is the section, I think this is it. This is the part I was kind of worried about. And the great thing about the Mini 3 Pro is it has this zooming feature. So on the right roller, I can zoom in and I can kind of see what's going on there. That one doesn't look like it has a hole, but you know, it is getting corroded, and that may be a problem in the future. So we'll just continue on here. Might be the other one here that has the hole in it. Yeah, that sun's like right in the camera. So good use case. You may want to like, you know, kind of adjust where you're going here because of the sun. Let's zoom back out. I'm just basically turning that right roller with my pointer finger right and left to do some rolling. Okay, so that, oh, there it is. Okay, so the second kind of soffit breather, you see that there? I can't go any more forward because it doesn't want to hit the wall. The sensors are working. So I'm going to go just up a little bit, and then we'll zoom into this little problem here. So as you can see, this would be great for home inspection. I mean, it does give itself like a, what, probably about a 5-foot buffer from hitting things. But at least you can zoom in a bit. So you see that hole? That's what I need to take care of so the birds don't keep coming in here, because I hear them nesting in there. So that's something I need to take care of. And we'll continue on. I wish this thing had sideways and upwards obstacle avoidance. That would just be so awesome. So you want to be really careful flying sideways. While we're here, let's go ahead and inspect this gutter real quick. So no problem going forward, like don't have to worry about hitting anything, or going down, right? Because we know that's not going to hit anything. So I can even get closer and just really check out this gutter. So it looks like I have some pine needles in there. And remember, you can zoom in if you want. And you can take pictures when it's zoomed in too. So if you wanted to do photos or just do video, it's entirely up to you. I don't know if you guys noticed these plastic things on the roof, but those are just basically to save kind of the gutters and to prevent like the snow from really falling and ripping your gutter off. They just kind of hold the snow up and the ice. So here we go, just flying kind of slowly over the gutter, pulling down a little bit just to kind of get more in view here. And I can see that, you know, I probably need to clean these gutters. There's a little kind of gutter rubbish blocker I put in there on the downspout. And you can see those pine needles are just clogging that up. So, you know, that's what drones are great for too. Let's check the stucco. Seeing a little crack here. I just kind of go a little bit farther forward and zoom in. So yeah, the wind is right about, I want to say 5 to 10 miles per hour, guys. So that's why you see this thing wandering a bit. And you can see that you can check out little things like that. I just clicked on the screen to kind of refocus it. So stucco looks like it needs maybe some attention. Coming up here, you know, you can check all your flashing. You know, looks like somebody tried to kind of seal that portion. Here's our top balcony, you know, we're just inspecting. The main thing I want to inspect is the things I can't get close to unless I have a really long ladder. So I'm going to go a little bit more forward here. Zoom out. Yeah, so it's avoiding everything, letting me zoom pretty close here. And see, once we got kind of in the shade, that sun's totally out of our way. So look how high up I can rotate this camera. I'll show you the maximum height. So that's the maximum there. If you look at the right-hand side, you can see it's at 60 degrees on that little degree measurement on the actual controller screen I'll have up now. So it has a maximum of 60-degree rotation, so that's great. It's not a 90-degree, but good enough to like get you up there and really kind of inspect for any holes and stuff. It looks like it. Oh boy. We crashed. I'm holding the control stick all the way down. So we had a total crash. So that's really unfortunate. It's still recording, it's still on. You can see that it flipped completely over and the motors were still spinning and I had to actually pull down on the controller to turn it off. So this is really unfortunate. I mean, this is the second Mini 3 Pro I've had because I had to return the first one. I wasn't pressing the side sticks at all or going up. I was just pressing forward, which that bypass obstacle avoidance should avoid. Anyway, bummer. Let me get up to the balcony and grab this thing. Okay guys, up on the balcony and oh boy, I hope I didn't break an arm or something. You saw how weird that was. It just like, I was trying to go forward and it just ran like right into the wall there. So sun, shade, opening. I don't know if it was trying to go for that. It must have got confused. I've never seen it try to go through windows. I mean, maybe it thought this was an opening, but it seemed like it hit the stucco and not the window. So, man, I hope this is like a brand new replacement. Shucks. Get that arm. So yeah, the arm broke off in the joint. That's too bad, man. Man, the weird thing too was that when it flipped over, these things are supposed to turn off, but it just kept like spinning upside down until I was like trying to pull down the stick. So look at this. So we have a broken piece of plastic in the joint that's holding the arm into its socket. So that shouldn't have happened. That's really disappointing, man. But it looks like the only damage, camera looks okay. And that was only from about, I want to say 6 feet drop. I must have just hit the arm like really hard. We got a little bit of scratching right here on the top right, but that's just kind of cosmetic. Wow, yeah, so from the propellers trying to keep spinning when it was upside down, look at this, it just like mangled them completely. So all these propellers need to be replaced. Even if they have a little bit of blemish on them, you shouldn't be flying with them because it just won't perform as good. Look at that, one's totally cracked. Rubber tips came off on this one because it was just grinding itself into the ground. So kind of really disappointed in the Mini 3 Pro for what I'm using it for here for home inspection. You know, you don't want to manually fly up or sideways, and I wasn't doing any of that. Okay, wow guys, so just finishing up the pros and cons here. I do not want to recommend this Mini 3 Pro for any kind of close proximity home inspection. It seems like it's a great drone for just aerial footage, staying away from objects and stuff. Or if you're flying just like straight, it seems to be able to avoid stuff pretty well. But gosh, I'm gonna have to return this again to DJI. The last time I kind of lucked out because they didn't charge me anything to fix it, because the gimbal was just like vibrating even after I crashed. It was kind of weird, but I don't know if they're gonna there was no blemishes on the last one. It was just inside the gimbal had a problem with the motor. It was kind of making some jello, but I don't think this one's gonna fly with a freebie fix. Anyway, guys, you saw it here, what this thing can kind of do and what it can't do. Not for close proximity flying at all, especially in any kind of, you know, shady or sunny areas. Maybe if it was perfectly lit and sunny all up in there, it would have been fine, but anywhere in general, you have some shade in some places. So until they can kind of get their obstacle avoidance to really work correctly, or better, I should say, I just can't recommend this for what I was doing with it. Anyway, guys, if you want to see how this thing performed, actually, I did an unboxing, I did an initial flight test, and I actually did some tracking, remember, on that bike video. Go ahead and check down in the description down below where you can see those videos. And also, the Mini 3 is great for other stuff besides this close proximity stuff. I mean, it has a really good camera. The front obstacle avoidance does usually work fine. I just don't know what happened in this situation. So it looks like they have some work to do. Wish me luck on returning this thing. I do have a couple of more range tests I want to do. It's just that the trails out here have been super muddy. I tried to go up there today at my new peak spot for a perfect range test, because I did one range test on this controller already, but some of you chimed in and thought the hill was blocking it when I went far, and I think you guys were right. So I found a spot that is on a peak up here in the trails, and it has perfect line of sight. So I'm going to do another range test with this controller, and then I'm going to do one with the RC-N1 controller, which is the controller that comes with like the Mini 2. It should have better antennas, and it possibly can go a little bit farther. But if you guys did want to see my first range test, go ahead and check that too, and I'll have the things popping up throughout the video as well up here on the top right. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed that, just to see what this thing can and can't do. Kind of disappointed in this situation. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.